Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and it is day 11. It is December 11th, 2020. We're doing Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where we discuss Magic the Gathering. We talk MTG on this show. First half of the show, Q&A and Magic discussion as usual. Love to be part of the action. Leave your comments or questions. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. And we most certainly can have a great fun discussion today. And also we do deck list reviews. So the second part, you can submit deck lists and be eligible to get feedback both from myself and the community. So if there is a 75 that you're trying to tune, if you ever wondered, can I get some feedback from some of those Magic Masters? Fix the mana base, fix the win conditions, see what we can do against the bad matchups. You better believe that you can do that here. So welcome everyone to Coffee and MTG, now on YouTube and Facebook. I've made an executive decision. I think you're a little quiet. Really? What's going on here? Oh, okay, let's see. Open volume mixer. Oh no. I've been like screwing around with sound settings. How about this? Do I sound better? Are we good? We might need to do some troubleshooting here. I hope I'm not too quiet. Good morning down low. Because I heard I was playing some Among Us yesterday and then they told me the same thing. I'm a little quiet. I'm a little quiet on my thing. And I believe them. I have so many sound problems on this computer, and trying to adjust for one little thing is really annoying. No, that didn't change anything. All right, we're gonna make, okay, open sound settings. Let's go to the advanced ones. Is there anything pulled down? There's like nothing I can boost. Oh no. What happened here? Something get touched here? Where's my gain? Did my sound settings get fixed? Okay, hold on. Does that sound better? Do you remember when there was like one day my sound settings got were out of whack, and it was too loud, and then I had to crank the gain down on my microphone down to nothing, and I'm like, well, this is bizarre. Somehow everything is fixed now on my computer. Much better. So we're back to where I was before. Okay, hold on. I think I was around 4. All right, we're back. And you know what? We're back. I don't know what fixed it. I don't. Okay, well, whatever. We'll just get on with the show. All I can say is a long time ago, my microphone for some reason was super ultra loud. We had to crank down the settings on everything. Now, just out of nowhere, maybe it was a Windows update or something, everything is fixed, and now I have to pull up the gain on my microphone. Sound is great all of a sudden. All of a sudden, everything sounds great. Well, what sucks is like people are going to open up this video on the replay and they'll be like, well, I can't hear anything. Screw it. I'm not going to watch anything. Hopefully they have the sense to like skip through to the middle or something. Ricardo says, I've been working on this 60 fun deck. Haven't touched on the side, but what do you think? You got to save it, Ricardo, for a deck list review. And if you can see in the comment, if you want, you can get ready for it. Join my, what's it called? There is a link to my Discord in the description. Either you're on Facebook or YouTube, and all you have to do is join my Discord. You are going to need Discord for this, and then you go to the deck review channel and you go !deck review. So if you want to do that in advance, you can do that, and you could be chosen at random for some feedback. Just let you know how the new way works. Okay, good morning, Ricardo. Good morning, Lord Magicus. Good morning, Down Low. Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Luati, Ori. It's still kind of quiet. Okay, hold on. Let me boost it a little bit more, but not too much more. I think I was around there in the past. Now it's up to everybody else to crank up your speakers. Good morning, Mikey J. Good morning to the rest of the Fish fam. Or maybe I still have to maybe I'll have to experiment on my own spare time. Sounds like all my sound settings got reset or something with a recent Windows update, but good to know. Thank you very much for the feedback. All right. What is going on right? There's a historic event happening this weekend, isn't there? Is anyone playing in that? Who's playing in the historic event? Good morning, Rebecca. I know I won't because I'll be playing in the modern challenges. I'm still pumped for modern. I'm gonna we got to put Splinter Fin to the test, but there is, I believe, a historic open, and by historic I mean the format historic. That's going to be going on this weekend. I've been getting questions from a variety of users about, how well is, Merfolk positioned, and maybe Merfolk is not positioned too badly if there's going to be millions of Uro decks, because I'm pretty comfortable in that matchup. The Goblins matchup still might be a little wishy-washy, but still possible. It's still beatable. Actually catching you on the right side of the globe. Thank you very much, Joshua. All right, Ray's going to get in there with Black Vampires. That sounds sweet. I didn't even know there is a vampire deck in Historic. I hope you can share that on Decklist review. Do you want to play a game? Which modern deck will get itself a Merfolk, which is not actually playable in Merfolk next? What do you mean? Oh no! Which modern deck will get a Merfolk of ours, which is not? We'll get a Merfolk card that is not playable in Merfolk. Okay, let's go. That's actually an interesting game. Let's go to MTG Goldfish. Let's look at all the decks that could potentially get a Merfolk card. This is an interesting game. Okay, who's gonna get a Merfolk card? And it's like not playable in Merfolk. It's got to be like pseudo blue, so it's possible Uro could get a Merfolk card. Definitely not Rakdos Shadow. Maybe Grixis Shadow. A lot of green in the metagame right now. Green everywhere. Wow, look at this ad nauseum. You know what? If you told me like a Merfolk would be played in ad nauseum, I would have said BS, bullshit. But Merfolk are played in ad nauseum, and it's actually really awkward because when I play Lord of Atlantis versus ad nauseum, this Thassa's Oracle becomes a 2/4 creature, and I can't actually attack into it. It's insane. I was once up against ad nauseum. They had like 2 Thassa's Oracles out, and I had a handful of Lord of Atlantises. I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do here? I can't get through these Thassa's Oracles. And they have Island Walk. At that, they could attack me. There was a point where I felt like my opponent could have beat me down with Thassa's Oracles instead of comboing off. But this is what Mikey J is talking about. Like there are random decks that have got Merfolk cards that are used to be unplayable. Like, hey, we're running Thassa's Oracle now. We found a home. Maybe we found a way to run Thassa's Oracle in Merfolk for the real deal. But still have to wait and see. So, like, what other deck could potentially get a Merfolk? It's got to be blue, outside of Uro, there's not a lot of blue out here. It's like if you run blue, it better be like, oh, okay, maybe is it control? Maybe Blue Moon could get a Merfolk. Not exactly true name Nemesis, but some sort of utility card. Can't think of anything else. Definitely not. I didn't realize how few blue decks there are in the metagame that are not Uro. It's like if you're running blue, it's like Uro or nothing. Why there was 2 different live streams in my recommended, both then when yours, one with 11 people watching, one with 25 people watching. All right, so I can only stream to 3 places at once unless I want to pay $20 more, and I decided I'm going to dump Twitter. I don't think people are watching on Twitter very much. So I'm now streaming to both my YouTube channels, and Facebook, which is all good to me. So whichever YouTube channel you decide to watch, it's all good with me. I'm fine with that. But if I stream to Nikachu MTG streams, I will eventually make it public so people who miss the stream can watch it later. I just don't want to clog my original YouTube channel. So, but I'm hitting both YouTube channels and Facebook. So Facebook, we got Panch Hernandez repping on Facebook. Thank you very much, Panch Hernandez. I really appreciate it. Will you still play Bant Spirits someday? Absolutely. You mean in modern? Maybe sometime over the holidays we'll play that. Oh, we got to play Elves too. It's getting close to Christmas, people. It's getting close to Christmas. And that means it's Elves time. How will Nikachu build Elves? Who knows? Who knows what it's going to look like? It's going to be interesting though. It's always going to be exciting. It's going to play around Plague Engineer. I promise. We're going to play around Plague Engineer. But Spirit, yeah, we could definitely play Spirits over the holiday season. I'll definitely get into like Spirits again when Pioneer like starts picking up again, because I still believe. Well, I don't know if I should believe in Spirits in Pioneer, but I'm certain that it has to be a deck. They've got all the spirits. Super OP deck. Humans might get a human, merfolk, mutants, and rat. It's possible, but it seems like you're either a human or you're a merfolk. You know, they don't blend those creature types very much. That's why we don't. There's like one merfolk goblin, and they never did it again. I don't know why they don't want to do it again, but because like a merfolk is already like human fish. That's why it's a merfolk. It's a human and it's a fish, right? Is that exactly how it is? I'm not wrong here. So to make a creature type human merfolk, it's like it's a human and it's a human fish at once. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How long do you think it will be before we get either A, more adventures, B, flip lands with a spell on the backside instead of the front side, asking for that spell shift deck? I'll laugh my ass off. I'm biased. Interesting. I do not foresee adventures coming back anytime soon. I bet adventures are going to come back when we go back to Eldraine, which might be in like 3 or 4 years. Flip lands, on the other hand, we might get much sooner. I mean, we're going to get more flip lands because they didn't even complete the full cycle. I think that was, well, I'm assuming like I think that was a successful experiment. A lot of people like it, and it prevents a lot of flooding out, so that we're going to see a lot sooner than later. Maybe even within a year. I'm not sure. We got to look at the next few sets to see how much more they develop this. But based on what happened, I think right now, that was still relatively popular. Yeah, some completely busted decks, like oops, all spells, but I think in the grand scheme of things, people really like this stuff. I have no problem. I love my glass pool mimic. My glass, it is, yeah, glass pool mimic. Wouldn't whoops. Wouldn't trade anything in the world for this. Beautiful merfolk card. More playable in mono blue than Simic, but still even playable in Simic. People make it work in Simic. Do you play against a lot of Omnath Uro? You know what? I don't play against it as much as you would think. I would figure, oh, I'm playing it all over the place. I would say in the challenges, I play against it a little bit more, but for the most part, it's just like a deck. It's a deck. I see it as often as I see prowess. So I wouldn't say the metagame is overwhelmingly full of Uro decks. Partially, this is because of the price. It's still ridiculously expensive. I mean, let's look at Mikey J is going to be in there with the quote. It costs money. This is a money deck. 1,000 ticks. And this is like one of the cheaper versions. Tabletop over $1,000. This is like a legacy-like deck, you know? I know legacy decks on average cost a lot more, but like 7 years ago, you know, if you're spending over $1,000 on a deck, that's like legacy money. So yeah, Uro Omnath, like these Uros, oh my god, $158 for a playset. Renin 6, I think this card is garbage. Okay, in this deck, I think it's good because the mana matters. You really need to maximize Uro and also maximize Omnath. But outside of that, I guess it's just being pumped up by this. And the Boomer Jund players. The Boomer Jund players, they love this card too. They saw it and like, yeah, this is going to be a Boomer card. Force and Negation, really expensive. Cryptic Commands, not cheap. Misty Rainforest. Oh my god, Misty Rainforest. Scalding Tarn. Yeah, this is like, oh my, these fetch lands online are basically the same as like fetch lands in paper. So anyway, this is a very expensive deck. And therefore, it is not played nearly as much as it could. Good morning, Eric, Enrique. It just pops up for me and I click it on the phone. Good for it. Awesome. Do you think Bant Merfolk could work? I tried it, and here's the deal. I love the idea of playing Simic Merfolk with Lurrus because one of the problems with Simic Merfolk is that it doesn't have a lot of grind to it. It can just a little bit, like it has the waterlogged groves and stuff like that, but in the grand scheme of things, it can't grind. But with Lurrus, I mean, Lurrus is it's a 2 for 0. Lurrus is a fantastic card if you can slot it in, and the Simic Merfolk deck is like really cheap on converted mana costs. Like the highest on my curve is like Smuggler's Copter and Merfolk Mistbinder. But adding this third color is devastating because of Blood Moon, and Blood Moon is coming back. Blood Moon is very well positioned right now. So this is already being seen as a 4 of in the mono red prowess lists, and basically prowess is the Abosh prowess deck is like the best Blood Moon deck at the moment. Blood Moon continues to get better because people are trying to make boil-proof mana bases to defeat the Uro decks and the Dread of the Elysian Grove decks. But the problem with that, when they do that, the problem here is that they get weaker to Blood Moon. So, but anyway, Blood Moon is still in the format, and it just killed me. I was up against the M Hayashi, and with my Bant Merfolk deck, and he slammed Blood Moon game 1. I snap lost because you can't make a 3-color mana base. It's impossible. That can play around Blood Moon. I just snap lost. Game 2 didn't have Blood Moon. I won that one. Game 3 he had Blood Moon. I snap lost again. It was embarrassing. So that's the only problem is you just snap lose to the Ponza decks and the Abosh Prowess decks or any other deck that wants to throw a Blood Moon in there. Great question, though. If Blood Moon, I guess the answer is if Blood Moon disappears, hey, Bant Merfolk could definitely be a thing. Is Pioneer dead? Pioneer's not dead, but it's very unpopular right now. Woods to the Coast has a lot of power to moving people, like getting people to get excited about a format like they just originally did with Pioneer. They said, hey, there's going to be a Pro Tour, there's going to be a bunch of GPs on Pioneer, get prepared. And they haven't done that since. And then they sort of sat on their hands when it came to banning the combo decks. And there's do you hear about them saying, oh, there's a big Pioneer Open, go prepare for the Pioneer Open? No, they don't got that. So probably they're going to hype it up when it's available on MTG Arena, and yeah, it'll be that thing. So Pioneer's going to come back, but right now it's not dead. It's just very unpopular compared to the other formats. Narrator's voice. He did not, in fact, play around Plague Engineer. Well, I'm going to play around Plague Engineer. How about a Christmas themed deck? Naya Elves with Spirits, the Ghosts of Christmas Past. I tried to do that last year, but I'm like, this deck sucks. So I just ended up going with I mean, oh yeah, just a complete theme deck, like elves and spirits and what else? I don't want to get too trolly. I know where you're going. It's possible. But it might end up a little too trolly. Christmas, the deck. What else could be in there? Rats? Because because isn't there some carol with mice involved? I can't remember. Whatever. There could be Throne of Eldraine Cookie in there. Spirits keeps getting those 5-0s in Pioneer League, so I definitely believe them. Yeah, I believe in them too. I they got everything. They got Spellqueller, Mausoleum Wanderer, Selfless Spirit, Empyrean Eagle as a lore. They got Supreme Fan. They got everything. They have everything they could possibly want. And then now they got Skyclave Apparition. That's insane. But do you think we will ever get a flip land with land on the front side? Oh, you mean a spell flip land with a land on the front side? I don't know. Maybe. They might go that. They might just errata the current lands to be like that, just to completely nuke the oops deck. That's possible. Because that deck is seeing play in all the formats, which I think is a little stupid, but at least there's answers to them. Oh, so we have confirmation that the double face cards, the modal double face cards, will be in Kaldheim. Interesting. So expect more. So what does that mean? Is oops gonna be at tier 0 soon? If the one problem with oops all spells is that they don't have enough playable lands to just cast. They're mostly just lands. But if they got to the point where, hey, all their lands actually were worthwhile spells for their archetype because they assembled enough black ones, for example, then maybe this deck is going to completely take over. What do you think about Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern? Is it overrated, underrated? It is fair. Jace the Mind Sculptor is super fair. You want to brainstorm? Bolt it. Let's get Jace the Mind Sculptor here. I think Jace the Mind Sculptor is just just a completely fair card. You know what I mean? It's not even better than Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, in my opinion. But like, if you're not in the white splash, if you're running base blue, then Jace is still gonna be like your premier planeswalker that you're gonna be running in your deck. Make no mistake, Jace the Mind Sculptor still will win the game by itself. On an empty board, Jace wins. Drawing an extra card every single turn, and then in the case of your opponent having an empty hand, Fate Sealing them will just completely win the game. It's still good. It's still a super powerful planeswalker. But this planeswalker is super fair. This format is so damn hostile. We've got Lightning Bolt. We have hasty creatures. We have millions of creatures. I mean, it's a pretty creature-based format. Or you're dead by the time you play this Jason Mind Sculpture because your opponent is going to combo off or like play Primeval Titan or something. So like, it's not a bad card. I don't think it's overrated. I don't hear anyone talking about Jace the Mind Sculptor better than all anymore because it's not better than all. I think it's beat by Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I think Jace is beat by Oko historically. It's just it's a very good planeswalker, but very fair. The 4 mana cost finally matters. Once upon a time, 4 mana didn't mean shit. Now it means something. Sadly, I can't imagine lands on the front Sylvan Scrying becoming Demonic Tutor. Neither can I. Good morning, Adam. Would I trade Glasspool Mimic for True Name Nemesis? Absolutely. Absolutely. Give me True Name Nemesis in Modern. It'll piss people off to no end. It would make Stoneblade... they would finally completely port Stoneblade from Legacy to Modern, because they needed Stoneforge Mystic. This would be a very unpopular opinion, but I think True Name Nemesis would be very fair. I think True Name Nemesis would be super fair in Modern. I think this card is slow, clunky, and dies. It won't die to Lava Dart, but it will die to Plague Engineer all the same. Won't die to Walking Ballista. Finally, we have something for Walking Ballista. I think this card would end up being way more fair than people think. But it would probably still piss people off, though. So I don't really expect it to ever come to Modern, but I think it would be fine. And make no mistake, I would not be... Merfolk would not be the only deck playing this. Definitely the Stoneblade decks would play it. But like, don't expect Uro decks to be playing this card because that sounds ridiculous. Uro, those decks just go way over the top. They don't need something like True Name Nemesis. How far am I? Am I lost on the comments? I've been working on my sideboard for Bant Spirits. Any thoughts on running a Stoneforge package? Why don't you just run it in the main deck? I don't think there's anything wrong with that, actually. Stoneforge Mystic and Bant Spirit seems totally fine to me. Makes sense. You could run the package. I don't know if there's an advantage to bringing it in against certain matchups, but you could definitely do that. But I would just highly consider just having it in the main deck if it was good enough, period. What happened to Troll Tuesday? I was trolling too much, and I just had to make like more serious content. I am... Wow, how far back I am on comments. Okay, so we're gonna do the thing. You got to do 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question if you want to get my attention, because I got millions of comments. They're all over the damn place. Is it worth buying fetch lands to get into Modern, Paper, or Magic the Gathering? Or do you think Modern Horizons 2 will have fetch lands in it in a meaningful way? To wait or not wait? I would wait. Yes, it will be. If you want to save money, it will go down. It will go down. So what happens is Modern Horizons Modern Horizons 2 is gonna get released. They will have enemy fetch lands. The price will go down. You jump on it the moment that you can, yeah, because the price will eventually go up. The price will go back up. So if you're willing to wait and then take action, I would do that. Don't like to give too much financial advice, but that's what I would do. Nikachu, have you considered bringing Cryptic Command back to your Mono Blue Merfolk deck? I did. It's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's fine. It's playable. It's a playable card. I'm not in love with... I might be a little bit more in love with Spreading Seas right now because the Tron decks are making a little bit of a comeback, but not a huge comeback. Okay, where are these? I've been running spirits. What are the reasons I shouldn't or should I play Stoneforge package in even if I am playing Bant for company? What format are you running spirits? I mean, oh yeah, you're running it in modern because Stoneforge is not legal in Pioneer. There's spirits is doing great, but spirits is doing great. I don't know what to say. Spirits is doing great. There's nothing wrong with spirits. Let's go look up Decklist from Dr. Queller, who is number two on the trophy leaderboards for Magic the Gathering Online. All right, where is spirits? I know spirits looks like it's super far down here, but it's okay. It can't be this far down. I must have missed it. Is it under like blue white? No. Where are you, spirits? Spirits, here you are. So, I mean, if you want a list that's definitely winning, let's go check out Dr. Queller. Let's see what the good doctor is doing. Dr. Queller, Banned Spirits. It's Banned Spirit. Last time I saw, he's not even running Collected Company. The guy's insane. The guy's insane. That's insane. How? Oh, he's back to Collected Company. All right. Last time we saw this, I made a big deal. Like, he doesn't have Collected Company in his deck. What is going on here? So 4 Mausoleum Wanderer, 4 Hierarch, 4 Rattle Chains, 3 Selfless Spirit, 4 Supreme Phantom, Druxical Captain, Skyclave Apparition, Spell Queller, and Collected Company. Back on Collected Company. Just couldn't put it away, Dr. Queller, couldn't you? And, here's the mana base. Sideboard of Path to Exile, Damping Sphere, Core Firewalker, Remorseful Cleric, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Unified Will. I should try that in Simic. Just for some certain matchups like Tron and Tron and like some combo decks, because I could use a good can't play Deprive in my Simic deck, but maybe I could with Unified Will. Even Mindset and a Kira. Great glass spinner. Seen some great play here. So I mean, if you want to play tier 1, and this guy second on the trophy leaderboards, people. Second on the trophy leaderboard. So you don't underestimate Banned Spirits. Banned Spirits is a serious deck. So it's a good deck. It's a good deck. There's nothing wrong with this deck. How much would True Name spike if it was made modern illegal? It'd probably spike really hard at first, but then it would go back down because people would realize that it's not as good as they thought it was. Just like every other card. Jason Mind Sculptor spiked hard. Now, like, it's collapsed back down to reality. Until Uro ban, what isn't fair? Oh, you mean what isn't fair outside of the Uro deck? Maybe Oops All Spells? Maybe just the Oops deck is the only deck that's not fair. Pretty consistent turn 3 deck. I mean, you could argue one of these Titan decks aren't fair. Like, people are starting to get fed up with, like, Amulet Titan because, or just the Titan decks in general, because they get to utilize this deck is unrecognizable from, like, a bunch of years ago. So they get to play, like, Dryad of the Elysian Grove with, like, Valak at the Molten Pinnacle without the deck building restriction of playing with mountains. And it's not like this card is garbage. It's a 2/4 blocker that lets them play extra land drops. So even if it dies, they got some value out of it. And this deck also plays with, what's it called? Field of the Dead, which people are also getting pretty pissed about. People are getting tired of this card. This card is, you know what? I mean, I wonder if there's a good chance this card gets banned before Uro. I'm not lying. There's a good chance Field of the Dead gets banned before Uro. Because this is a big player. This is a huge player in these bigger decks, like both in Uro, in Amulet, and in the it's being called the Latimer's toolbox, but this is just really the Elvish Reclaimer Titan deck. So anyway, those are probably the most unfair decks of the. I guess the Titan Field of the Dead decks are the unfair decks. Any plan to get into Pauper? Nope. I don't. Sorry about that. Not a Pauper fan. There's a lot of formats out there. I don't have time for all of them, so I got to double down on some of them. Do you think Uro deserves a ban in Modern? You know what? Let's take a look at this metagame share. I used to think, maybe it's okay. Like, everyone's overreacting. Okay, so 7% here for Uro Omnath, but that's not the only Uro deck out there. So that was 7. So now we have Sultai Uro. Let's do the math. People, let's do math. Math is easier. So we got 7% plus 2.4% from Sultai Uro. Well, you can't see the percentages. Teamer Uro, 2.3%. So plus 2.3 plus. Where else? Where's the other Uro decks? Show me more Uro. I think there's more out there. Van Stoneblade, you have an Uro in this? You also have Uro. Okay. So that's point plus 0.9%. I'm surprised Spirits doesn't have Uro at this point. Maybe that's something we all got to experiment with. Okay, Wooburg. This is the Niv to Light deck. That's another 0.8. Because the thing is, Uro by itself is like a win condition. A really hard to beat win condition at that. Scape Shift. So that's another point. This is your 0.4. So what we're looking at here, if we do the math, is Uro is like 14% of the metagame. 14%. And that's good. That's crossing a line, I think, compared to everything else. Everything else has like make no mistake, this is MTG Goldfish. These meta shares are like partially BS. They're like super recent, like within just a few days, so not super accurate. But they do sort of tell a story that like Uro is just jammed in so many decks. It's a 1-card win condition bomb, and it takes up like 14% in like archetypes. Will Splinter Fin be the way you play Merfolk in the near future? We're trying it out. We're figuring it out. So I just keep this is how it is. I keep raising the stakes with Splinter Fin. I should get pure sight marrow. So here's the deal. I played this in leagues. So if anyone's not familiar, there's like now there's like a sort of an infinite milling combo in Merfolk that can win with Thassa's Oracle. I played it in leagues, I won. They were ponies. Make no mistake, I was up against ponies, but it was a proof of concept. The deck could actually combo off and pretty consistently. Then I took it to a league, off camera, and I went 3-2, losing to some rough matchups, losing to counter spells mostly. I didn't have Cavernous Souls in my deck, but again, the games that I won were insane. I was up against Infinite Life against Helid Company. I would normally lose that match. But I beat them with my combo. I beat a Titan deck that normally would have wiped me out because they would have stabilized with life gain and a million zombies on the battlefield. But I just raced them with my combo. Then we took it to a league. We go 5-0. Not bad. So I play another league being streamed live. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the modern challenges this weekend, and we just keep pushing. We see, and if it does well in the modern challenge, then I'm going to continue to play this deck. That's what it is. You just take it one step at a time. Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I'm just lucky, but maybe I'm not. But I have to just keep raising the stakes. That's just how it is. I started in like Ponytown in the queues. Then we took it to the leagues, and it's stood the test of time in the league. I'm like 8-2 in the leagues. Now we're going to take it to a challenge. Take it to 2 challenges. We're going all in. Carlos, I like to look at old modern deck lists, and I really like the deck type Jeskai Tempo. What experiences do you have against the deck? Why did the deck type disappear? Any idea how it can be viable? Yes, Jeskai Tempo does exist in today's metagame. It's a fringe deck for sure. Okay, one problem I will just say is that there was a point where Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix became worthless. Just straight up, that was the reason. Lightning Bolt wasn't effective anymore. Lightning Helix, it's the same thing with Jeskai Control. At some point, the Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix just doesn't kill anything. It's not worthwhile. Everything is just a much larger creature, or people are trying to do something way more powerful. Or there's like just too many combo decks or control decks that don't have creatures to target. Like, I mean, let's look at the metagame today. So if you have Lightning Helixes and Lightning Bolts against Uro Omnath, you're probably wasting your time. If you have Lightning Helixes and Lightning Bolts against Rakdos Death Shadow, again, it might be okay. Might be okay. I don't know how to evaluate this. If you gain enough life, you might kill Scourge of the Skyclaves because your life total goes back to 20. And it's okay to hit this early crap. But when the Death Shadow and Scourge gets really big, are they really going to do the job? I don't know. Heliod Company. Probably this is a good... Probably this would be... I think this would be good for your Lightning Helixes and Lightning Bolts. I think. Because this... these creature combo decks fear a deck full of removal. Mono Red Aggro. I think this probably would be a decent matchup as well. You can kill everything on the ground. Infinite removal. Tron. Useless. Have all the burn spells in the world. Maybe not completely useless. You can be a semi like burn deck, but you don't have as many things to target. Titan decks probably not good. They will just stomp you out pretty badly. I mean, like you can bolt and helix some stuff, but it won't be as effective. Ad nauseum useless. Hammer Time probably good. So there are, like, I would say the closest that we got to Jeskai Tempo right now is Jeskai Stoneblade, which it's a fringe deck, but it's still out there. I think that is your best bet at a Jeskai Tempo deck right now. But just to reiterate, these Jeskai decks more or less live and die based on the value of Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix. It's a big deal. It's not everything, and we got Aspiring Spike built Jeskai Control pretty successfully recently using like Shark Typhoon and Cleansing Wildfire on your land, the Flagstones of Trocaire. So, I mean, there are ways of building Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix decks, but again, a control deck is trying to scale much larger with Planeswalkers like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Mystic Sanctuary, Cryptic Command, and stuff like that. Trying to brew a Delver of Secrets plus Terramander style deck. I see a lot of Is It variations, but all they add is Young Pyromancer and Bolt. Is it really worth to splash red for those two cards? Bolt is still a pretty versatile card because you can target your opponent's face. It gives you reach. I can tell you as a Merfolk player, your opponent goes down to 2, and sometimes it's really hard to get in those last final points of damage, and your opponent stabilizes, and that's it. And they start killing your creatures, especially when you're up against a control deck. I mean, like, you have no other way of pushing damage. So Lightning Bolt is still a pretty versatile card by itself. For 1 mana, it's like one of the most popular cards in Modern, really. I don't know about Young Pyromancer, but I think Delver, the cost to splashing red in a Delver deck is so low. It's just so low that you might as well do it. You might as well go that route. You should add the red for... It doesn't necessarily need to be for Young Pyromancer. It could be for Seasoned Pyromancer or something. But you probably should splash the red just for a little bit more action and more cards. And by the way, you get access to better sideboard cards like a Braid. So like, you get access to a Braid, so you can beat up Chalice of the Voids and stuff like that. You can't do that with Mono Blue. So there is a lot of other advantages to splashing red. Becoming entranced with Modern, but I haven't invested in a deck. I really like red. Are there any red decks that you'd recommend that have staying power in the meta? I've thought about Storm. Oh, you want a red deck that's doing well in Modern right now? Come this way, good sir. Right this way. We got Mono Red Aggro, also known as Abosh Prowess. So first off, this deck has been evolving for over a year, but it's always been around. I mean, the OG, I would say the OG Abosh deck was a Mono Red Phoenix deck. Then Faithless Looting got banned, so the deck had to just basically play more of a prowess role instead of a Phoenix role. So they were playing a bunch of like spells, and now this is just the evolved version of that deck. This has a lot of state. This is very, very strong. I don't even know what they ban in this deck. Like, there's not the thing about this deck. There's nothing bannable. Maybe Seasoned Pyromancer one day, if this proves to be like overwhelming card advantage. This is such a flexible deck, and like M Hayashi is the trophy leader with this deck. Is this M Hayashi's list? Let's go find M Hayashi's. What is M Hayashi up to? Da, 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 da. Or maybe they don't publish M Hayashi's list because he's literally the trophy leader. I have like, oh, there he is. I have a theory that they don't post the trophy leader lists because they don't want people to know what's good. Like, what's that trophy? What's the person who's like third and fourth on the trophy leader list? What are they running? So, I mean, this, if you love red, this is it. I have a video on this. So you can go check out my Nikachu MTG channel, the OG channel for the deck tech. Shouldn't be too far from the top. So you have a Bosch, the Prey Piercer, which says all the cards in your deck need to have converted mana cost 1 and 3. No problem for this deck. Bomat Courier. Attack every turn, put the top card of your library face down under it, and you can crack this thing, pay a red sack, draw all those cards. So this thing can attack like 5 times, get 5 cards, you empty your hand, then you crack Bomat Courier, refill your hand. Swift Spear, Soulscar Mage. These are incredibly powerful, painful creatures. They usually deal like, I don't know, they can scale to like 4 to 10 damage a game, depending on how many spells you cast. Seasoned Pyromancer. So the thing that like red decks hate is flooding out. You're never going to flood out with this deck because you're always going to draw gas with Seasoned Pyromancer. Firebolt, more card advantage, has flashback. And remember, Obosh the Prey Piercer, when you have it on the battlefield, it doubles the damage of all the spells that you have in this deck. So Firebolt, when Obosh is out, will deal 4 damage. Flame Slash will deal 8. Lava Dart, more card advantage, deal 1 damage, flashback amount, and deal another damage. And being able to play rattle off a million spells a turn increases the prowess count for Swift Spear and Soulscar Mage. Got Lightning Bolt, light up the stage, more card advantage. Blood Moon, some games, like I said, I played my Bant Merfolk deck against M Hayashi. Blood Moon, boom, it's over. Easy, GG. Good game, scrub. Take your 3-color deck to the dumpster or something. And this deck actually doesn't get crushed by Auriok Champion or Chalice of the Void so well because of okay, they have Shattering Spree for Chalice of the Void. They have Blast Zone for Auriok Champion, or like even Leyline of Sanctity. And they also have and he has Kozilek's Return for Auriok Champion. So actually, this is like a red deck that doesn't fear the anti-red cards. Highly recommend it. Okay, I think now I will say that it is time for Decklist review. Where is my link? I'll post a link in the chat, but if you can see the description, go in the description to join my Discord to post decks in the Decklist review channel. Hold on, where's my copy? Let's get to comments. So it is Decklist review time. And then if go to my Discord, go to the Decklist review channel. It should be high up. And then what you have to do, and do it carefully, people, write use the command !deck review deck space. Don't press enter yet, and then don't leave any comments. Hold on, just post. Okay, here we go. Because we can't have too many comments. Just post the URL to your deck list, and then we'll do whatever. We'll do what we can. And now, as people are publishing their lists, and I see people are getting a bunch of new people to join Nikachu MTG on Discord, you do have to have Discord. This is the only way I can pool everyone from all social media accounts. We are going to thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online. And boy, they have a deal of the week every week, but you don't want to miss this one. Giant Xmas sale, up to 50% off, hundreds of items on sale. Go check it out. And even then, go check out fusiongamingonline.com for a new sale every single week. Remember, it is a Canadian site, my favorite local game store, Canadian prices, so do not be caught off guard. And we're also going to thank our other sponsor, Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. If you think And if you're thinking about getting online, or if you want to experiment with a deck to dabble to see what's best for you, or if you just like to switch to the next best thing week in and week out, you can do that with Mana Traders, and you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save yourself 15% off using my coupon code Nikachu. Cactus of Ishmak, good morning. You've missed almost the entire show. You have instructions pinned to the channel? Awesome. Excellent. Good job. Without the well, you can make notifications. You got to click the bell, right? On what's it called? On YouTube. You subscribe, then you have to click the bell. Ding. I can answer some questions while we wait for people to submit decks. Do you think Smallpox is a good card in the meta for decks that can use it? Yes, I think so. I don't know if I want to say it's great, but it's still good. Like it puts such a beat. I think it's a good sideboard card for sure. It puts such a beating on Tron. It puts such a beating on Eldrazi Tron, on the Amulet decks, on the other Titan decks. It's really strong. Imagine turn 2, you play Smallpox against Reclaimer Titan, and they have to sacrifice one of their lands in the Reclaimer and discard a card. It's a huge beating. How much is Season Pyromancer on Magic the Gathering Online? It is money. It is money, money, money. It is very expensive. Do you want to know? Guess. Everyone guess how much it is online. Don't cheat. Or if you sort of know, then you can say so. How much is Season Pyromancer online? Show me Salud. Salud, are you around? Salud. Salud. Oh, Salud is sleeping. Salud's on a box in the kitchen. 50 bucks, 35 bucks, $75. Oh, okay. So, we got. Okay, this is the closest one. The true price is 37 ticks. So Andre was hands down the closest. That's a pretty good answer. It's expensive. One of you, one Season Pyromancer. I thought he had no arms, to be honest. I thought this was an armless person. Then when I look, because I thought the arm was part of the flame or something. And then when I look at this picture a lot closer, oh, he actually has arms. There are arms here. All right, it's time to do some review. Let's review some deck lists. And by the way, you can still submit deck lists while we do this, but for the time being, we're going to check out some stuff. Okay, who got chosen? Dr. Dalaku with Bant Spirits. Dr. Dalaku, I hope you're in the house. All right, we got Breeding Pool, Cavernous Souls, Flooded Strand, Hall of Fountain, whatever. I'm going to assume this mana base is A-okay. 2 Deputy of Detention. Drog Skull Captain, 2 Glass Pool Mimic, 4 Mausoleum Wanderer, Noble Hierarch, Selfless Spirit, Skyclave Apparition, 4 Spell Queller, 4 Supreme Phantom, 3 Ether Vial, 2 Path, 4 Collected Company, Oriok Champion Yourself, Containment Priest, Force Negation, Kira, Knight of Autumn, Path to Exile, Remorseful Cleric, 3 Rest in Peace. So for the most part, this deck is actually pretty decent. I'm not thrilled with Deputy of Detention. I mean, you gotta ask, you gotta tell me, what is this for? What is Deputy of Detention for? Because it's not that great of a card for the most part. It's not a spirit. It used to be in spirits because they didn't have Skyclave Apparition. But now we got the Skyclave Apparition, which is just a way better card than Deputy of Detention. So not a spirit, not even permanent, exiling of the cards. It's like, yeah, it's like budget Skyclave Apparition. But like this is Skyclave Apparition copies 5 and 6, so I gotta know. Yeah, not 4 Vial seems questionable. Make no mistake, there was a lot of Bant Spirit builds that played with less than 4 Vials, but I'm definitely on the 4 Vial train. In my opinion, it sometimes answers say if I see Tron. Does it? I mean, you can't interact with the lands. I think I would make the other parts of this deck more consistent. Like, you could even have Rattle Chains in this deck. I think for the most part, you've got like a pretty good stock deck, but you should just replace Deputy of Detention with something else. Okay, we've got like maybe I probably should just play the third Selfless Spirit and an extra Ether Vial. Well, if it kills Karn, then that also okay. So here's the deal. First, Karn got value. So if Karn exiled something first, then you got the Karn, and then if they play like a follow up, I don't know what they could play. I don't know. Let's say they go Oblivion Stone, crack it, then they blow up your Deputy of Detention, and then they get the Karn back anyway. Because this is the problem. They get it back anyway. Like, Deputy of Detention was totally fine as a card to deal with problematic cards like Ensnaring Bridge and stuff. But we got Skyclave Apparition now, so this is just sort of an outdated card in my opinion. I would just the whole deck is solid. I would just increase the Ether Vial and maybe another Selfless Spirit or two more Selfless Spirits instead of the Deputy of Detention. I have no problem with the rest of this deck. You got a solid deck here. I don't even think Reflector Mage isn't even necessary anymore because of Skyclave Apparition. And we do have to be careful we don't have too many 3-drops. Like, we don't want to be too clunky in that direction. Running Spell Queller, Skyclave Apparition, and Drogskull Captain, that's a lot of 3-drops as it is. So, like, this being another 3-drop is, like, really clogging the 3-drop slot. And we still have, like, Collected Company to cast up there. Yeah, I like Rattle Chains too, but, like, you know, I can see not playing Rattle Chains. It's a 1 toughness creature. Gets eaten up by Lava Dart. Want to go more all in on like Glasspool Mimic to copy the Lords. I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with. I think Deputy of Detention is just an old card. I think it's dead. It's it should be in the sideboard at the very least. I don't think it has any business to be in the main deck. By the way, we have 93 people watching between the two YouTube channels and Facebook. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. I mean, that's fantastic. These are numbers we just can't get on Twitch. Unbelievable. So anyway, thank you very much for submitting the deck list, and I hope that was some useful feedback. Add Utopia Sprawl or Birds of Paradise? No, Noble Hierarch it's a good question. It's a 3-color deck, but Noble Hierarch is a banned card, so it's just better. It helps give Exalted to singular creatures attacking, which happens very often in Magic. So you like play out 1 creature and you just want to attack for 1, you get the most damage in with 1. And Utopia Sprawl, I can see like a good argument for going the Utopia Sprawl route, but given that this is a Collected Company deck, I don't know, it's a good question. What if this deck played Utopia Sprawl instead of... It's a good question. Because Utopia Sprawl doesn't get hit by removal, and there's a lot of Lava Darts out there. There's a lot of removal. There's a lot of Lightning Bolts, Fatal Pushes. Good question. I don't know. That's some experimentation to be done. I can't say for certain that this deck would not want Utopia Sprawl, because turn 1 Utopia Sprawl guarantees, no matter what the hell you're up against, play or draw, that you're going to get a 3-drop out on turn 2, I'm sure. I've had some good results with Sprawl lately. So many 3-color decks that Field is less common. Oh yeah, that's a problem. Field of Ruin is a thing. Hopefully it's not that big of a deal. Probably you don't have to cut Coco for, but like it's fine running Noble. I would still run Noble. Like Noble still pushes damage. This is not a random mana dork. It's a card that helps push damage. So I would still run Noble Hierarch. And if I did run Utopia Sprawl, I would still run Collected Company. Okay, so let's go to another list. Next person in the queue, J.K. Torborg. Back with the Adventure Shift. All right, Torborg, what's up? We've seen this list millions of times. What can we change? What can we do for you? The 4-color Adventure Shift, which will just get better as they print more adventure cards. Oh, that's why you're J.K. Torborg, because you are literally Jack Torborg. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, Cactus of Ishmak nails something really important. Sprawl does not synergize with Vile very well. Turn 1 Vile into turn 2 Noble is still pretty good. That's actually a good point. That's a big sacrifice. That is a bigger sacrifice than I'm willing to make. All right. So we're looking at Adventure Shift again. So if anyone hasn't seen this deck, the idea is like there's just a bunch of creatures and there's a lot of spells. Oh, we're running Thassa's Oracle. No, we were always running Thassa's Oracle. I don't know what's different about this deck. So the idea is we play Wishclaw Talisman. Well, first off, we can just beat their ass down with like turn two Brazen Borrowers, Lovestruck Beasts. Brought the Merchant of the Veils back. 3 Nimble Obstructionists. 2 Vendilion Clicks. So there is a bit of a beatdown plan, but outside of that, there's this Wishclaw Talisman plan of ETB with 3 Wish counters on it. Remove 1, search your library for a card, put it into your hand. We're going to look for Primal Surge. It's the only copy. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you do, repeat this process. Every card in this deck is a permanent. So you basically dump your whole deck onto the battlefield. Some of those cards are going to be Thassa's Oracle. And then you win the game. Because there are no cards left in your deck. Because you put it all on the battlefield because of Spell Shift. This is the only non-permanent card in the entire deck. It's a pretty sweet deck. So what's the deal? What's the deal, Torborg? Yeah, we look for Spell Shift. Because this is also a permanent. Because I'm not sure what is different about this deck now. You still have the Embriths in the sideboard. You have Hornet Nest, pretty sick tech in this list. Really putting a beating on the Prowess decks. Retro Bomb. Oh, I don't remember if I saw Spreading Seas last time. Teferi Mage of Zalfir is a pretty good idea. Well, actually, are you running white? Because otherwise, you should just be running Teferi Hero of Dominaria, Teferi Time Raveler. Do you have any protection from like this getting countered? I guess not. You just have to hope that it resolves. JK Torborg, I know you're here. What it do? Because I don't have any like new feedback on top of this deck. It's we've definitely seen the evolution of it on Coffee and MTG, but I can't tell what is particularly different in this specific list. Yeah, you have to submit deck lists in the Discord. And that's the new home for deck list review. I don't know. Are you... I can't tell if you're hidden or something. I can't see any more comments from you, Jack. Maybe we're allowed to have like short comments. It's too bad. Yeah, we're at like 100 character limit on the Discord, so we can't. No one can leave comments after they submit their deck list. Otherwise, it just doesn't show up, which is unfortunate. Well, if nothing else, we got to share this pretty cool we got to share this cool deck again. Oh, you can Mystic Sanctuary back this. So like, if this does get countered, if the Primal Surge does get countered, sorry, the Spell Shift. We Spell Shift into Primal Surge. Spell Shift can't. You counter your own spell, if I remember correctly. Hold on, no, okay. So your Wish Claw. I screwed this deck up. You Wish Claw into Spell Shift. You counter your own spell. Counter target instant or sorcery spell. Its controller reveals the top cards of his or her library until they reveal an instant or sorcery card. Then you can play that card without paying its mana cost. You get Primal Surge. That's where you dump your whole deck into your library. You have to do this first into this, because if you do this first, you're gonna end up putting you're gonna eventually find Spell Shift. Maybe JK Torborg left because I butchered the combo of this deck. Hold on. Oh, there are some comments here. So this list of my newest take, which I dubbed Adventure Shift, has been upgraded to be 4 colors to make the maximum use out of Bone Crusher Giant and Merchant of the Veil. Links above will take you to much lengthier descriptions of each of these versions as describe the pros and cons of each list, but to nail down the pros and cons, I'll be more specific on the accordions below. First, let's get into the core of the deck. I should, for anyone that's interested in this deck, hold on, let's throw this in here. For anyone that's curious about this deck, because J.K. Torborg's put a lot of work into it, and seems to be like this, you know, somewhere down this holiday season. Remind me, I'll play this. I should play this thing. Okay, number one, can I fit Uro? Yes. That's my. I mean, you could try. Absolutely, you can try. Then do I cut Elf Sprawl? No. You keep them because you can ramp. You can go turn. You definitely keep Sprawl because you want to go turn 2 Uro. You definitely keep. You got to keep something. You just dump some other decks. You dump some other card. I don't know. Maybe Nimble Obstructionist. Or the yeah, you want to keep Click because you need it. But you could find some room by like dumping. I don't know, Nimble. I don't know if you how much you need this card. I would bet dollars to donuts that Uro's better than Nimble Obstructionist. Yeah, you could cut Nimble. Run Shark Typhoon? No, you don't need Shark Typhoon. Can I adjust the mana base and afford the double black Demir House Guard? No. I don't know what that is. The double black Demir House Guard? Oh, this thing is actually literally called Demir House Guard. Fear, sacrifice a creature, regenerate, transmute. No, I don't think this is worth it. Don't go that far. That's too crazy. You're already in like the blue and green colors, so Uro is an easy splash. I think everything else is not worth it. Flayed, I would lose my mind. Like I've seen the evolution of this deck for like 5 months. I think this is a pretty and it's a pretty cool deck. I mean, I love that. I love a deck that has a good plan A followed up by a combo finish for plan B. Like a deck that doesn't depend on these things. I think it's pretty sweet. Yeah, I know you could transmute, but it's double black is hard. It's just too hard. And I would rather you don't focus on the combo too much. You should just be accidentally getting into the combo. The thing to watch for with combos is how much mana you're spending to make combo happen. Yeah, don't be going like turn 3 transmute to find your spell shift. Well, I guess it's on curve though, you know? It is on curve. You would have to change you'd have to I think you would have to radically change this deck. I think if you played with what's it called? You started playing with some black creature adventures like Murderous Rider, maybe that's possible, but like I would not add black to get into this deck to get double black. I think that sounds insane. It might. Are you finding Wish Claws are like too clunky or something? I think Wish Claw is an awkward card. But I think this is also an awkward card. This is 4 mana. You're spending as much mana on this thing. You're literally spending just as much. It's 3 mana here, but less black mana intensive. Oh, this is already black mana, though. And this one is double black. And it's also, but this is also sorcery speed. Activates this ability only during your turn. Well, I guess it's not technically sorcery speed. You could do it at your end step or something. Rider's played in my Sultai build, but ups my mana curve, which is tough. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Anyway, I would stick to it the Witch Claw. It's okay. It's okay. Unless we go like super heavy. You know what? Transmute, I think, is a really clunky thing. It's transmute might only work in what's it called? Titan decks where they have just like infinite. They have like mana. They got so much mana. They could donate it to charity. They have those Titan decks, they have so much mana that they should be taxed by the government. Titan decks, they've got so much mana. That mana doesn't buy happiness. I don't know where I'm going with this. You got the idea. But anyway, that's all the time we've got for the show today. Thank you very much, everyone who showed up. What's going on here? Where's my banners? As usual, just a reminder that we do this on Facebook and the YouTube channels, Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Time might change going into the new year because my school schedule might force me to change it, but we have to wait and see. I don't remember what my schedule is, and my schedule might change anyway. So if you want to join the show, want to be part of the action, if I didn't get to your comments or questions or your deck list, hey, keep submitting them. Also keep asking. There's always another opportunity. Just show up Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time to 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Hope everyone had a lot of fun. You better believe I had a lot of fun. We can make so much Titan jokes now. I love to make some Titan jokes. Yeah, Titan jokes has so much mana. They got audited by the IRS. I don't know. I'm sure you guys can do a lot better. You just pretend that mana is money, and we're gonna have material for years. All right, so everyone, yeah, that's it for today. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I had a lot of fun, and we keep brewing up that coffee. We keep brewing up the magic. See you guys next time.